Hello, one and all, and welcome, of course, you are always welcome to LCR Season 5. The World Championship has arrived after a fortnight break. We're here at the Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve in Canada. This brilliant 2.71 mile track awaits the guys with 14 turns ahead of them. 6 are to the left and 8 to the right. 3 DRS zones available to the guys, and of course this track 35 laps ahead of them with the Hypersoft, Ultrasoft and Supersoft tyres being available to them. It looks like maybe we might be the intermediates and wets, but who quite knows. But let's have a look at just a couple of minutes ago. We just had a thrilling qualifying session, and let's have a look at the grid order. So on the front row is KRC Gianni, LCR's very own Flying Finn, is on pole position. Alongside him, the Flying Dutchman of LCR, Theo Verstappen, alongside him. The two-time LCR World Champion, LCR Leopard, is in P3 with Army Hogler in P4. Row 3 is an entire Mercedes row with TR Dralex ahead of his teammate LK. Row 4, Jolly and King 25 got a late 5-second place grid penalty. He was in fact up in P3. The final two rounding out on row 5 is both the Force Indios with LCR Hayden ahead of Drizzt's Revenge. Outside the top 10 on row 6, UK Dark Predator with LCR Visualize alongside him in P12. Teasdale, I'm going to pronounce it as that, is P13 on row 7 alongside him, the championship contender of VSR Clone Troop. Then his teammate just behind him on row 8 with LCR Fredster and Boris Lederbox, another championship contender, way down in P16. And the final man who was serving a qualifying ban as well, Phoenix Legend in the Toro Rosso, but in actual fact will be in the Red Bull for this race. But the guys are now thick and fast on their formation lap of this 35 lap race, and well, as you can see, it looks like it's about to rain. But of course, talking about qualifying, crucial to mention, the top two were separated by 6 thousandths of a second. KRC Gianni just ahead of Theo Verstappen, and a further 10th behind was the man on the Ultrasoft tyres, Leopard. Watch out for them guys inside the top 10. Try and make the stint go, because as we've heard, it might rain halfway through the session. Leopard, Dralex, and in fact Jolly and Liam. But as you can see, the rain is already coming down, so in actual fact, the Ultrasofts have been useless here. In actual fact, it means that the guys who are on the Hypersofts have got their strategy bang on, because it could be intermediates as early as lap 3 or 4. We don't quite know, but as the rain comes down, the guys have got to get into focus, get their minds ahead of them, because it's about to start and the firelights are about to come on. But of course, Phoenix Legend, the final man of 17, about to be able to create the legacy of LCR here in Season 5 at the Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve here in Canada. Of course, you can see he's got a Ferrari inside of him. That's not a good sign at all. That's not a very good camera angle, but we're coming around towards these guys. But the man sitting in P17 on the Supersoft tyres, who was actual fact represented for Red Bull. And as per usual, we've seen it before with the 2 Red Bulls, one at the front, one at the back. That was China. Now it's the other way round with Gianni at the front and Phoenix Legend at the back. But nevertheless, the guys have got to keep their cool, keep their nerve as the 5 lights get ready to come on now, as they are now coming on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights out of the drivers, and LCR Season 5 is off in Canada. So Bellin is not there for looks to be Carousel Gianni. Not a good start by Theo Verstappen's already got past LCR Leopard down towards turn 1. Leopard on the inside of Gianni as well. What a start from the German, but Verstappen on the outside as well for turn 1 and 2. They are 3 wide between Gianni, Leopard and Verstappen just about. Meanwhile, further down, Hogler appears to be having the inside of the TR Dralex, and now gets past for P4 as well. But Leopard now trying to pass Carousel Gianni just about does, and already the 2-time LCR World Champion leads through towards the first couple of corners. Hogler appears to have a bit of a connection. He's always 3 wide down towards turn 4, and he disappears all of a sudden. The UK Dark Predator safely gets past him for now, and it looks as if it's been a poor start for the Spanish. He continues to drop down. Good start for French, who's got him on P11 just behind LCR Hayden, already on lap number 1, as if it seems to be as if the reserve has split the 2 forces into the UK Dark Predator. The Italian splitting, the American and the Brit. It doesn't quite well out the ocean, but nevertheless it's going down. It's on lap number 1 already. The Ultrasoft runner of LCR Leopard leads after a brilliant start of getting past 2 guys on lap number 1. And side by side goes Team LCR, LCR Hayden against LCR Fred. You will see ahead. Drizzt's Revenge side by side with UK Dark Predator down towards the final chicane. Not really an overtaking opportunity for both guys are going to try and hold their balls down towards they go. Who will have the nerve? And I think UK Dark Predator does as well. So does LCR Hayden. Now he can have a little pop with his teammate down towards turn 1. He might. As meanwhile as well, look at the leaders down towards turn 2 they come. As meanwhile the 2 Force Indians are side by side, and actually fact allow Fredster to pop right through, and he does, but he gets a bit of contact. I think Fredster's off. Fredster has spun it at turn 2. That's how his teammates go for Phoenix Legend, Boris Lederbox Teasdale all to pass through, and then Fredster gets a bit of front wing damage as well. That's not gone at all well for him on lap number 2. But meanwhile, as you can see, the rain continues to come down and the track continues to get greasy. It's still got to carry on. The guys have got to persevere as if this is a normal race. As Fredster is already out the first DNF of the race. He's only second time of a DNF this season, I believe. It's still continuing to look like a portion, so third DNF, and he's not even finished the race in LCR this season. And his teammate is currently thriving, but he's down in P12. And meanwhile, side by side goes Jolly and Liam, two good friends. And I think the McLaren has moved. The McLaren holds back and lets him go, and yes, he does. As you can see now, the Renault ahead, but there's a bit of contact. Oh, look at the contact between, might have been between Phoenix Legend and VSR Clone Troop, and the man who had a DNF at Monaco. So the quali man today, as the rain continues to chuck down, might about to get worse. Meanwhile, Brad lets go of LCR Visualize on lap number 1. So left we go fastest. Meanwhile, side by side goes LK and King in 25. The Mercedes against the Renault. The championship contender has the move done and is up into P5 as his championship contender, who currently championship leader, leads on lap number 3 after an absolutely magnificent start by him. Got past both Verstappen and Gianni, and they are only left with twiddling their thumbs and wondering why on earth that happened. Meanwhile, side by side goes Jolly, and LK has been in contact. LK out of control just about, but I think Dark Predator has swooped around the outside, and this man is doing a good job. He's already on a set of superstars. The yellow flag road in sector 1 as Hogler has walloped the wall there at turn 2. The Spaniard continues to have a poor season here in LCR. The man that looked to be one of a dark horse for the championship has had an abysmal season, and it gets only worse as now the Dutchman is on the back of the Flying Finn of LCR. Gianni against Verstappen. Let's see who will come out on top. As you can see, looks to me as if Brad has just passed Hayden. I don't know. I think Hayden might have made a mistake. We might have Boris barges his way through in the Renault. He's trying to get a comeback driver. He does his same. But meanwhile, down towards the final couple of corners comes Verstappen and Gianni. Long way round for the Dutchman. In his actual fact, he's done the move. He squeezes Gianni up, but is that going to probably leave him prone? Because there's only one DRS activation zone. So in actual fact, Verstappen starts DRS. Meanwhile, side by side behind as well goes Drenex and Liam. Two championship contenders side by side. But also Gianni and Verstappen ahead, trying to go side by side. We're going to try and follow each other through this in NASCAR. I don't think they will. But Drenex now trying to take a full advantage. And Gianni was squeezed out. That means Verstappen is now on the defensive against Liam and Drenex. This is an incredible battle early on between these guys, and so far Liam squeezes him out and has the move back, and now he's all of a sudden into P3. What a start. Meanwhile, is the Canadian going to try and produce a shock result here in his home Grand Prix? Wasn't quite able to do it there. Of course, we saw it last season with Brad at the USA Grand Prix grabbing the victory. Meanwhile, Liam now going to try and go on the outside of the two DRSers down towards turn 7. Can he get a long way round on the Sauber? Not quite just yet. And will he have the chance now out of 9 down towards the hairpin at turn number 10? He's going to look to the outside. We're on board with TR Drenex. Long way round for King in 25 against the Dutchman. Can he work his way around? The rookie trying to make an impression as per usual. Couldn't quite do it, but having a massive bit of oversteer and a tank slapper means he loses not 1 but 2 positions to the Dutchman, because Drenex happily goes on through as well. And of course, Liam still has DRS anyway. Meanwhile, bit of action going on to Cassie Jones. By the way, has been passed by both Jolly and Pred. What's happened to him? Down towards the chicane they come. Slots in behind for now as the rain continues to come down. And we all wait for that DRS disabled sign to say, no, it's too wet to have that on, which only means to the guys, it's too wet for dries, and we have to start looking at intermediates. Meanwhile, there's been a spinner. Oh, I think, in actual fact, have Hayden and Teasdale come together? I'm not too sure. Meanwhile, there's still scrapping going between LK and Visualize here for P8. Side by side, they go down towards turn 2, and down towards the turn 3 and 4, and yes, what has happened to the Mercedes the Frenchman in the Mercedes, sorry. He's had an abysmal few laps, has got to be said. Meanwhile, there's an absolute train forming up here between TR and Verstappen. He continues to struggle in these conditions. He is not enjoying them at all. Next man up is the McLaren of Jolly. Can he try and get him there down towards 7 and 8? Trying to go a long way around. Will Verstappen come back across him? Nope. To be fair to him, he leaves in the room, and that has meant he's had to jump over the curb, and that will surely be a penalty. It tanks that down towards turn 10, and surely this will be the chance of McLaren. Yes, it is, and he takes it nice and graphically. In fact, he's going to dart it back down the inside of Verstappen. Has there been a contact? And Verstappen starting a half spin. Can anyone else take advantage of that? UK Dark Predator has been left prone. In actual fact, Verstappen gets a massive tank slapper as well, and now he gets passed by UK Dark Predator. The Italian takes advantage. Now the question is can the two men who are on the front row, don't forget, they're now battling for P6. Incredible to witness very early on. But now Verstappen goes to the outside. Pred then goes back to the racing line, and ultimately it all funnels out just about. And meanwhile, Boris trying to find a way past the Belgian and Visualize. As you can see, the gap between the two leaders is still to be clear as LCR Leopard leads by 4.8 seconds already over Kingdom 25. As Verstappen a bit oversteer there ahead, as you can see. He's now off of the exit of turn number 2, and that is going to leave him prone. And that gets passed by all three of these guys, but Gianni has gone into the wall, and that leaves him prone to Visualize down towards turn 3. And yes, nice and simply, Visualize is up in the P6, and that means now the McLarens are 6th and 4th. I don't think for a long, actually. In fact, no. Boris then takes full advantage of Gianni slowing down, and then Happy says, right, challenge contender coming through, gets his horn on, and gets gladly past all of them. Lap 6 of 35, and now of course DRS still there, but as you can see, it is really chucking it down here. I don't know if you can see this as well as I can, but it really is chucking down. As Boris now darts down the inside of Visualize, that might leave him prone on the exit. No, Boris with a good move there, and now it's a good move for Renault as well. They're 2nd and 6th, of course, currently in the championship fight in terms of the constructors, with Mercedes heavily. 4 points, I believe, separates the two of them at this moment in time. As you can see there, meanwhile, in the background, Phoenix Legends have just been passed by LCR Nut He's letting them back through. As you can see, Hayden has already gambled it on the intermediates. I didn't really notice that. My apologies for that. Meanwhile, now, side by side, goes LCR Nut. This is incredible for P10. The American against the Frenchman. Unlikely scrap, but nevertheless down towards the final chicane. And that's for LCR is going to dart it in. What about Brad? He's just absolutely messed up the final couple of corners there. And I think that maybe we might be just about ready for intermediates in this Grand Prix. And all about timing it to perfection to get the stint right. As Liam continues to look as if he's thriving in the conditions. Leopard looks like as if he might be struggling. As you can see, DRS disabled, and that has probably come at the perfect time for the leaders because they've just come out of the exit, one of the hardest corners on the track in terms of traction. Now it's all about coming into the pits and getting it right. Trying not to get 5 seconds stop there, depending on your weighing as well. Meanwhile, Verstappen continues to fall down the order and has now just been passed by Phoenix, and I think I'm about to pass by Clone Troop. And yes, he is, nice and simply. As meanwhile, Boris and Pred, let me surely not go side by side towards the pits. Nope, just about, and Boris let go. And that's fact, gets a 5 second stop, go for speed. A bit silly of him there. But into the pits comes the Renault and the Williams. And I think the Williams may have been held there, but so was the McLaren. But also as well, Boris now in. But it's a double stack for Renault, and that is going to cost him a significant amount of time. Will anyone gamble on staying up? No one is coming. Clone Troop has gone on to full extreme wets. And this race has all of a sudden become a very strange one, to say the least. The other thing over in sector 2. Who is that for? That might be good. No, it's not. Is it? Oh, in fact, it's King Liam. The championship contender is at a moment out of turn 7. His teammate gets past. UK Dark Predator also gets past. And all of a sudden, what on earth has happened to the one who was 1 point behind LCR Leopard walking to this round? He's had a phenomenal start to going to P2, and it's just all bittered away from him. He's now down in P6 behind both his teammate and his close friend UK Dark Predator. Jolly is in P2 and currently doing a phenomenal job as it stands. Of course, he started in P7. Of course, one man who's got to talk about as well is Boris Leopard. Actually, in fact, he's now being passed by UK Dark Predator down towards turn 1. The question is, can he squeeze him out just about? And that will mean that Toro Rosso is now up in the P4 in reserve. He's doing a very good job for himself, and looking here, bring a huge haul of points home for him now. When I put down towards this, you get hairpin, they come, and Liam darts down the inside of his teammate. Championship contenders, doesn't matter, they're still teammates, they've got to work together. And on the outside line goes Boris Leopard. Can Liam squeeze his teammate out down towards the final chicane? This is only allowing the Toro Rosso driver to get away into the distance and fly away as if he's in a Texas desert on Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't think he'll quite have the move done for now with Kingdom 25, and has to slot in behind with his teammate again and accept defeat. But will this now mean that the Renaults are not on the same page at all? It doesn't look as if they are. He's now down towards turn 1. William tries a little bit of a momentum lunge. He will try it down the inside through turn 1. He pushes his teammate out, but Boris will give him twice to the back though through turn 2 and will squeeze him out for now. And that means that Liam is again hung out to dry. But again, look at the gap already between Boris and Pred. It's 1.5 seconds. Liam gets a 3 second time penalty. And now the exit of farmers contact between the two. Incredibly, the Renaults have come together. And you couldn't quite script this, could you? Two championship contenders who are in the same team have walloped together at turn 5. And that is unbelievable. In LCR, you couldn't quite script it. But now Liam's up in a P5, and I don't think he suffered any damage from that. I think the only man that did was Boris Leopard. So meanwhile, side by side goes LCR Visualize down towards this chicane. We've got a DRS zone, but they're not in fact using it because, well, DRS is disabled. As you can see by the spray, Wet tyres might be very much in use at some point. As well, side by side, they still need to go down towards the hairpin at turn 10. Will the... Oh, I think just about the Belgian has been squeezed out because he broke far too late. That might have been prone to the finish, man, but he couldn't quite. As there's a real battle of Europe here. We've got Belgium, France and Finland all going head to head. As meanwhile, side by side, they go down towards this section now. Can the Belgian defend on the inside line against the Frenchman? No, he can't. He breaks early and lets him go. That's smart driving as visualised. In actual fact, then gets a 3-second time. But look at this scrap. It is a brilliant European scrap. So at the front, French. Then you've got Belgium, Finland, and finally you've got Dutch. It's beautiful to witness here in LCR. Meanwhile, Clone Troop continues to fall down the order on full wets. But as you can see, the rain continues to get heavier. So it could come good to him. Let's see if Boris is going to try a set of full wet tyres. He's got to wait for whatever reason. And I think he's stuck in the pits. But nevertheless, the Belgium and the Frenchman are about to go side by side again down towards the final chicane, visualised against LK. And maybe this time, because he's got the head, yep, LK leaves him the respect and leaves him the chance to take the move. And now he's down to P7 and the Belgian back on to P6. And there is an actual fact. The two teams of McLaren and Mercedes cracking a phenomenal race at the moment in time. P6 and P7 and then P2 and P3. So, you know, not too bad at all when you look at all things considered. 2 seconds behind us, of course, the Toro Rosso driver, UK Dart Products, continues to call the reserve. He's an actual fact a Toro Rosso driver, my apologies for that one. Nevertheless, Gianni now slides his way out. As you can see, the rain continues to come down, and this is going to be a real test for the drivers. We already saw them drive when it was too wet for dry tyres. Now we've got to see them drive when it's too wet for intermediates, because as you can see, these tyres are very good at dispersing water, but not when it's absolutely chucking it down. One thing is for crucial though, a hometown boy, currently P3, Canadian, trying to bring home his, what I believe will be his 3rd podium of the season. I could be wrong. 4th, sorry, my apologies. I don't know all my stats. Verstappen retires, and I believe he was in the pits. Yes, he was. So that is because he had to go somewhere as per usual. He did it at Monaco when he was running in P2, and now that only means that Tisdale's on for his first points of the season. That'd be nice to see. The Italian against the Canadian, Drelex against UK Dart. That's a poor line from Drelex, and that is going to be prone down towards turn 1. Side by side, there goes Lim, slides his way out towards turn 1. There you go. UK Dart against TR Drelex for the podium place. As you can see, the Canadian has been snatched off it so far, but is that going to be prone potentially for a switch back down towards turn 3? Drelex, bit of a slidey exit, and that I think is going to only mean that he doesn't get the opportunity down towards this section. And now Fred is into 3rd, and is that only the chance as Fred now leaves the session? He finally took long enough to do so, but that's a good move from the Italian, and now it is best friend going to try and pass him through behind as well. Of course, no DRS in these conditions. It's all about trying to get a good exit out of the corners and have a chance down towards potentially what could be here at turn 7 and 8, but I don't think he's required to move just yet as Hayden is into the pits or a pit stop. Let's see. Whether for a front wing change or if that's going to be for a set of tyres. Let's watch the graphic to see if it does make the change. The 3-second time comes with Boris Box for multiple warnings. In actual fact, it's another intermediate set. And meanwhile, side by side goes Kin into him on Drelex down towards the hairpin. They go long way around for the Renault. Can he pass him again? It's been the 2nd time this race, but this time it's in tricky conditions. Side by side they go down the Cedar Straight towards the final couple of corners, towards the Quebec wall of the Wall of Champions. And I think Drelex not going to give him up just yet. Will he try and fight with everything he's got down towards 13? No, he has to slot in behind. But he's going to have a good exit here from Liam. He does get a good exit, and that means that Drelex lost 2 positions in 1 lap. But Liam looking to try and make vengeance here today. First up is the Italian UK Dart Predator. Can he get a good exit out of 7? I think he will, of course. Doesn't matter about the second gap, of course, because no DRS available in these conditions, which means it doesn't really matter too much. This is really the only scrap we have on track as we pass the halfway mark, and what a sensational first half it has been in LCR so far. As Drelex, in actual fact, the Canadian comes in, so the first really the leaders to come in for a new set I expect in intermediates, and yes it is. As you can see, the pit assistants there getting very wet, but nevertheless they're going to persevere with their jobs and do their best to do a good service, and indeed they did, unlike Renault, who waited 14 years before serving Boris. But let's see where he comes out. Will he come out in clean air? Rumble the one that's kind of behind him, which is interesting. I think he'll come out ahead of him. Let's see if we can spot the Canadian. You can really see him there just about, yep, he's come out nice and safely at turn 2. So now he's got 5 seconds of clean air to get going. His teammates ahead of him, so even if he does get close, you reckon that maybe there might be a bit of team orders and a bit of sort of good work between them. As you can see, they've been a very good team so far. I don't expect they lead the Constructors' Championship. But nevertheless, down towards the final chicane, not really quite a chance there for Liam, and this could be make or break. If he gets a good exit here, this could be his chance. But do not forget, as he gets a 3 seconds, that's his second of the race, by the way, in terms of penalties. 6 seconds worth of penalties. Clone Troop still very much on the back of Liam, and will he try and do a knock on here and try and pass him? And I want to see what can happen, really. As into the pits comes Gianni and LK, which now relieves, but it's even more clean air. I believe it's only 15 seconds you can have. Let's have a look. Line interval will we get? And a gap time 8.3 seconds worth of clean air. But let's have a look at the race leader. We're on board at the time with the race leader of the Grand Prix, LCR Leopard. Of course, he's nice and clearly sailing in the lead as the rain seems to absolutely shut down here at the Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve in Montreal. But will Leopard come into the pits? Will he decide that that's enough? Nope, he's going to stay out for another lap and complete lap 13 on his intermediates. We're on board at the time with UK Dark Predator, the full-time, yes, he's full-time Toro Rosso driver. Bit of a tip really, but Craig gets a massive oversteer and a 3 second time before his trouble as well. But meanwhile, the guy behind him, his friend Canadian 25, is into the pits. So let's see what the Renault does, where he comes out as well, because, well, the question is, Dralex might be about to cause an upset, but into the pits comes Visual as well. So you can see Liam conserves there. Around the final chicane comes the Canadian, and will he jump? Because this could be a good guide in terms of Fred as well, as he's past Visualised. There's Liam, so in actual fact it's close. Down towards turn 2, Liam going to fire his way down as quick as he possibly can, and just about he avoids the undercut, but that is a worrying sign probably for Fred and Jolly, because of course the undercut wise is very strong due to the fresh intermediates. So side by side out of the pits comes Visualised and Phoenix Legend, by the way. Side by side goes the Red Bull, which is lighter blue than you'd expect, and the orange looking normal McLaren has nearly, he tried his best to get the move done there towards turn 4, but ultimately because of the fresh it needs, I think that might give the Belgian a chance to get away from the Swede. Let's see if the race leader comes in. No, Pred is going to. Jolly stays out. So now, let's see how good of an outlet there. The gap between Jolly, Pred and Dralek, sorry, that's what I meant to say, is around about 17.3 seconds. The gap between Liam and Pred, 16.1. Of course, a very short pit lane here in Canada, so it's not surprising. And of course, even if they do get past, as you'll see, still gets the run down towards someone. You see Fred now coming out, and I think he might have been jumped here by Canadian 25. Down towards turn 2 they come. He gets past Dralex. Will he get past him? They're side by side as they come out of the pit in what is a scrap for P3. Here we go. It's two best friends. It's Toro Rosso against Renault. Why do they give me the awful camera angle? I think just about. Yes, he will. Liam has the move done. Will he have the chance now to come back down towards turn 6? Can he try and dart it down the inside? Will the Italian try it at least? No, he will not, and that means that Liam now has P3, and judging by the gap between himself and Jolly, very much P2 as well. And will this mean now he plays the ultimate role of rear gunner with Dralex 1.1 seconds behind? Of course, on older intermediates, these guys are definitely going to try and go to the end. As you can see, the rain continues to chuck down as Dralex gets a 3 second time penalty as well, but 10.8 seconds separate the two leaders. Has Leopard stayed out? No. Finally, the German pits. He is into the pits for his second stop of the Grand Prix, his first stop for intermediates. Let's see. I expect to go on inters, and yes, he does go on another set of inters. In comes the race leader. In comes the man in second as well. Now let's watch to see where he comes out, because he could be much far down as 4th place. He's Grand Prix 5th at a push potentially. Liam and Fred almost certainly, I reckon, will get past him. Leopard, of course, safely out in P1. What about the gap between these guys? Liam is past. Jolly is past. Dralex is past. It's an abysmal state as Phoenix Legend is out of the session. Oh, he's one off the wall. A massive crash. And that surely might be a safety car, judging by where that is. And it's a monumental crash for Phoenix Legend in the Red Bull. And I think he's come together with LCR Visualised. Will we see a state? It doesn't look like we're going to. It looks like as if the guys are going to get away with daylight robbery in terms of safety car. And that will calm the race down potentially. But no, it has not happened, and now all of a sudden the order is Leopard who leads, Liam second, Pred third, Dralex 4th, Jolly down to 5th. Unbelievably, he has lost out on 2nd place. He's lost out on 3 positions to these guys. Pred and Liam, of course, done the good strategy there of getting a good outlap as well. And Drelix, of course, he came in miles earlier and was close to these guys than he ever has been. Well, on lap 24 of 35, this race has gone extremely fast. But 3 seconds on the Canadian John, that is his third, I want to say. I'm not too sure, I can't remember off the top of my head. But into the pits comes Gianni, front wing change for the Red Bull. So maybe he was involved somewhat in that contact, I'm not too sure. But into the pits also comes Visualise, probably for a front wing change as well. He's got a 5-second stop there to serve as well. Which means Boris will jump the pair of them up in a P7. The 3 seconds on the LCR Hayden as well. As out of the session goes VSR Clone Trim. Where has that happened exactly? Let's see if we can spot it. I can't quite. Meanwhile, Jolly. VSC comes out. A virtual safety car is out. Not quite the full-blown safety car, but we have. Of course, these guys now have to stick to a said delta before it comes down. It means they have to reduce speed and increase their lap time. I believe by about 30%. I can't quite remember the top of my head, but now that means I have to stick to that. And this is make or break in terms of the start, because you can gain multiple seconds if you get the VSC ending sign at the right place, and you can just normally put your foot down. As you can see, we're just about waiting for the green flag to go live again. We're on with the Jolly, and I come E5, right on the back of Drelix. So if he can get the start right, he's on for an attack when the green flag drops. Because when the guys start to accelerate, they start to accelerate, and they have to now back off, and we'll be about to see the green flags. Finish session leaves the session as well, because he is out of the session. As the green flags go, and in actual fact, it's a good start from Jolly. Out of turn 8, well, even out of turn 7, even the chance goes down towards turn 8, maybe potentially, no, not quite. He clips the wall, and I think with full damage, that would have been throwing out. He gets away with it for now. Down towards the hairpin at turn 10, he's closing. In actual fact, he's very much closing. Down the inside goes the Englishman on the Canadian. Can he about to upset the Canadian party? And yes, I think he might do a good exit here as well. He managed to hold TR Drelix down towards the final chicane. Will he now go back for the move on the outside line? Yes, he will. Jolly going to defend on the inside line as hard as he possibly can. And this is ultimately going to be suicide in these wet conditions. Can he defend on the inside line? Jolly, I think he will. Just about. Drelix left in the room and said, no, fair play. You were ahead. You can take it. And that means now Jolly's having a P4. Drelix down a P5. And that means now back to where they started for the two at Mercedes. They started 5th and 6th. They're now 5th and 6th, but there's 20 seconds between them, really. So it's not really going to matter too much. But meanwhile, the gap between Leopard and Liam is 6.2 seconds. It was, remember, about 11. So maybe the safety car has worked out perfectly for Liam. He's managed to bring that gap down. But I think it's going to take an almighty couple of laps in order to close down the two-time LCR World Champion. With just over 5 laps to go, we come in for a 5-lap sprint towards the end of the Grand Prix. One thing is critical to mention. Leopard can still come behind Liam within 3 seconds and take the victory here in LCR and still be the man to win it. Oh, it's all over. It is all over as Liam gets a second 3-second time penalty. That's his third of the Grand Prix, 9 seconds worth, and now means if Craig can stick within 6 seconds of Liam, he will take P2 off of his friend. So all of a sudden, it's all over. It is, unless Liam can absolutely produce a environmental or mean that there's contact, it's all over. Leopard will win, surely. There is no question in my mind that is going to happen. But the gap continues to come down. It's 1.8 seconds now between them. But the finish question, of course, when you're battling, it is possible to get penalties because, of course, you use every inch of the track you can, and that only means you have to use that and a little bit more, which could mean some contact. But we're in for a brilliant showdown here in Canada. Montreal might be about to see its very own Montreal screw job. But towards the final chicane they come. Leopard continues to be ahead of Liam. As you can see, it's all about exits now, all about getting a good exit out of section. Of course, no DRS in these conditions, so it's all about raw pace and raw power and getting the timing right on the throttle. Down towards turn 1, as you can see, Liam is as close as ever going to be, and this is really make or break time for Leopard. Has he got it in his locker? The two-time LCR World Champion against the up-and-coming rookie. It's 1 point between them in the championship, and it's less than 3 attempts on track. Down towards turn 6, we'll try a lunge, also a momentum lunge. Out of turn 5, Leopard defends the inside line and then comes back to the outside, so that means Liam can't go for the move. Now out towards 7, all about the exit out of here. Liam's short shift like crazy. I think Leopard might be doing the same. Here they come, down towards 7 and 8. The 8 and 9 chicane, my apologies. As you can just see Hayden there, Brad in the distance, probably minding his own business, thinking, oh my god, I'm right behind this scrap, we're about to start. Down towards the hairpin they come. As you can see, Leopard pulling away from that ever so slightly amount, but they've both pretty much burned off their ERS available to them. But now, with 1 lap of racing left to go, Liam is close, and it's really his chance here today to try and upset the 2-time world champion. As you can see, there is a Force India ahead. Let's hope he doesn't interfere in this battle. As meanwhile, that's a good exit from Liam, has got to be said. That was a very risky exit, but he got it right. But the gap between himself and Pred still 5.5 seconds. We're on to the final lap of racing we go. Liam against Leopard. Who will have the chance towards turn 2? I think Liam's going to run out of opportunities here, because Leopard just going to be so good at getting his exit right. Bit of oversteer there out of turn 2, down towards 3 and 4. Here they come for one final time. Blue flags waving high and wide for the American. We've got to get out of the way of this scrap. Down towards turn 6. Will Liam try a lunge? He can't quite for now, but that was a massive tank slapper there for him. As you can see, Brad nice and safely gets out of the way. Bit of oversteer for Leopard down towards turn 7. This is his chance. Here we go towards the chicane 8 and 9. It was a really poor mistake from Leopard, and here they go, Liam against Leopard on the final lap of racing. Oh, there's a bit of contact between the two. Unbelievable stuff. Then ultimately Liam backs off and lets him go. Respectful driving there, has got to be said. But the only thing that's going to allow is Pred to get closer and closer. Down towards the airpin they come. Will Liam try and lunge? I don't think he can. I think he's too far back. But that was ultimately the piece de resistance that ultimately meant that he couldn't quite get the move done for now. And that surely mean that Leopard's going to go on and grab the victory. But fair play to Liam. He backed off and said, no, that was my bad. I gave him respectfulness to say, yep, okay, end of the story. But the one thing that's crucial to mention is Pred might be about to nick that P2. I mean, the gap will be extended up to 11 points in the championship. Right on the final corner. And LCR Leopard is going to take victory here in Canada. Second place for Kingdom 25. But not for now, because Pred will take it off him, and the Italian, the Toro Rosso, comes home in P2. And the one thing that's crucial to mention is it's 2.9 seconds behind the race leader, as well as Dralex snatches off Jolly, he wallops the wall towards the line. No podium celebrations for the hometown boy today. LK going next round comes to the line in P6, and that is the end of that in LCR Season 5. What a Grand Prix we've just witnessed. Congratulations on your podium, guys. Best of luck for next week's. But that will conclude that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching, as per usual. It's been brilliant to have you all along for Canada, and goodbye.